face off Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and Republican strategist Danny Vargas. Danny, I want to start with you. The Vice President also said, referring to this New York trial, I think it will make Khalid Sheikh Mohammed something of a hero in certain circles. In other words, to follow Cheney's logic, you have to believe that, well, he wasn't a hero, despite the fact that he was the mastermind of 9/11, but now he becomes a hero simply because he goes on trial in New York? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'll tell you this. I do agree with Vice President Cheney in the fact that I think this is a huge mistake. We talked about this earlier. I think we absolutely have no need to do this in New York City. We're going to be opening up wounds. KSM is going to go up and turn this into a circus. He's going to use the opportunity to spew all the hatred and the families.
Only if the judge allows him to do so. Let's be absolutely clear. It's up to a federal judge. It's not up to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as far as what he gets to say.
And the families of the victims just now are beginning to heal, and the wounds are still fresh. We don't need to open up those wounds, and we don't need to put at risk the intelligence sources and methods, military tactics and strategies. This is a huge mistake. We can still use a military tribunal as a viable, appropriate option.
Maria, a lot of Republicans seem to think that we shouldn't trust a federal judge to oversee these issues. What's your view?
Well, my view, I think, is that we should trust our federal judges and that we should trust what U.S. attorneys are saying and what U.S. prosecutors are saying, who are the ones who were part of the decision to do this. And I think that we have actually tried terrorists in the past, and our courts are a place where this can happen. And as you said it, Dave, the judge has said that he is not going to allow this. So I think that we need to put trust in our system. And frankly, you know, what I would say about Dick Cheney is that yet again he is absolutely flat out wrong, and he could not be more irrelevant in this debate. Yes, he gets ink because he's a former VP, but the more he talks, the more irrelevant he becomes.
And Danny, to that point, certainly the former vice president, important part of our history, and some say still important part of this conversation, but you still have others who worry that it seems that he is salivating for failure and predicting all of this these negative possibilities before this has even started. And you have terrorists who've stood trial in other countries, and according to him, none greater than this one. So why are we not able to hold this trial in a proper fashion?
Well, ever since we picked up KSM in Pakistan on March 1st of 2003, he was part of the conspiracy that launched an attack on the United States, that declared war on the United States. So in a situation like that, it's just totally fitting and appropriate that we would use military tribunals. We've used them throughout our history, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War to World War II. So this is appropriate and fitting to be able to use this vehicle as the option to be able to bring this individual to justice in a quick and speedy trial and execute him using the military options that we have before us. That's the best, cleanest, easiest way.
That's a fair argument, but when Vice President Cheney again says, I think it will make KSM something of a hero in certain circles, Cheney's saying that he wasn't already a hero. I mean, again, that doesn't make any sense. Do you know something about Dick Cheney's mental health that maybe he's not thinking rationally?
I'm not going to sit here and try to defend Dick Cheney. I think he makes his own statements. I wouldn't go so far as to say that the Obama administration is providing aid and comfort to the enemy. I wouldn't go that far, but I do see where there would be concerns about, giving this individual a platform to continue to spew his negative venom.
Maria, we're going to switch topics to healthcare. Last night around 8 o'clock, we heard this big deal, a broad deal, as Senator Harry Reid described it, had been reached. But we just spoke with Congressman Raul Grijalva, and he says even if the president asked personally, he could not support the fact that, as some put it, public option is dead.
I think what we need to really focus on here, Chairman, is the fact that the Senate has moved forward, and we are at a historic moment. We have not gotten this close to passing historic health care reform in 50, 60 years. And so I think that Democrats as a whole, yes, Reid said it today, that not everybody's going to agree on everything in this bill, but Democrats as a whole in both the House and the Senate are absolutely unified in their commitment to pass health care reform that gives those families who have been crushed by premiums the kind of stability that they need, and to give the 30 million uninsured Americans the coverage that they need. I think that what was struck in the Senate today goes a long way towards getting to where we need to get.
Danny, are you smiling because you think this really is a victory for Republicans?
No, I'm smiling because I can't believe Maria said that Democrats are completely unified on anything. They're disunified. And when it comes to the abortion issue, issue when it comes to the public option and so forth. There's so much disunity that's taking place within the Democratic Party right now on this issue, and especially the fact that all of these deals are being done behind closed doors in the dead of night. Whatever happened to the most open administration in history?
Maria?
Danny, let's talk about something that's open. Let's talk about something that's very open, and that is, it's very clear that part of this deal involves extending Medicare to people as young as 55. Now, on December the 6th, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, Republican, he said Democrats want to try and cut Medicare and that Medicare needed to be protected. The next day, when he found out about the Democratic plans, he said, oh, we shouldn't extend Medicare. What is it? Did the Republicans support Medicare or not?
Here's actually what's going on. And Danny is absolutely wrong. In fact, Democrats are completely unified on the overall goal of providing coverage to 30 million Americans who don't have it, and to give stability and security to the families who do have it, but are deathly afraid that they're going to be dropped tomorrow because insurance companies don't have anything right now on the books that would keep them from doing that. What are Republicans doing? Republicans have so far stood up for the status quo and have stood up for all of these insurance companies to continue the status quo. So let's get things right here. It's Democrats who have stood up for America's working families who are being crushed, and for middle-class families and businesses, by the way, who are going out of business because they can't afford the current system because it's unsustainable. Democrats at the end of the day are absolutely unified on this, and Republicans want
Maria, but also the question, go ahead and answer Maria, but also take a crack at where Republicans stand on Medicare.
Well, let me talk about briefly about Maria's plan. I think there's still a whole lot of ground left to cover. We still don't know what the outcome is going to be, and there's a lot of the devils are in the details right now in terms of what eventually will become. And I think my big concern is the fact that this is going to end up being a job killer, because the penalties and the taxes and the costs that are going to be imposed upon particularly small businesses. And the reality is that what this bill doesn't do realistically is to bend the cost curve in the right direction. We still don't have competition across state lines. We still don't have the ability for businesses to pool together. We still don't have the ability to do anything in terms of malpractice reform. So all these things that would actually affect cost and bend the cost curve in the right direction, none of that is in this right now.
Maria Cardona and Danny Vargas. Danny, we're going to give you a pass on the McConnell arguing with himself over a Medicare question. We will ask you that the next time we have you on. Thank you both so much for coming on, Maria Cardona and Danny Vargas.
Up next.